sub-zero temperatures of the Nordic winter, a colossal life has just fallen. There was no bloody hunt, no roar that tore through the air. This moose was simply deprived of its life by the icy silence. For it, this was the end. But from above, the figure of the ruler of the skies is descending. A life or death gamble has just begun. We often believe the golden eagle is the absolute king, a proud predator that survives only through lightning-fast, powerful swoops. But the wild reality is far harsher. In winter, pride cannot generate calories. Even the ruler will fall victim to starvation if it refuses a rotting carcass. The strength of its talons becomes meaningless if it cannot penetrate this icy armor. Imagine yourself clad in this creature's fur. The temperature plummets to freezing, every muscle in your body screaming for energy just to keep your heart beating. Before you lies a life-saving piece of flesh, but you are not alone. The smell of death has awakened other merciless, hungry creatures deep within the forest. Just one moment of carelessness, 1 second of hesitation before your opponent, and you will be the next corpse buried beneath the snow. Can this lone predator protect its last remaining reserves from the perils that surround it? And how? Can a frozen corpse in the midst of a desperate winter become a lifeline, not only for this individual, but also the source of new wings soaring into the sky? This is the story of the art of extracting life from death, where wild nature proves a cruel truth. Death never disappears, it only changes form. When temperatures drop below freezing, all the usual hunting rules are abandoned. There are no high-speed chases, no display of claws. The game of survival now shrinks to an incredibly brutal energy battle. The bone-chilling cold inadvertently becomes a natural refrigerator, locking tens of thousands of calories inside the moose's body. But nature never prepares a feast. The moose's skin and muscles are now frozen solid, like a block of cold concrete. To reach the life-saving protein source inside, the golden eagle must gamble its meager remaining calories. It is forced to expend energy in the hope of gaining that energy. In the desperate winter, such a massive stockpile could never be kept hidden. The scent of cold blood and the movements on the pristine white snow sent an unmistakable locator signal. And the one who received that signal was the sea eagle, a giant of the north, whose wingspan and physique even surpassed that of the golden eagle. Faced with the appearance of its pursuer, a confrontation was inevitable. Spectators might expect a bloody battle to the death, but the laws of the wild operate in a far colder way. In this isolated, icy landscape, any open wound, the smallest, means a death sentence. A broken feather, a tear in the wing membrane, these would render them incapable of retaining heat and hunting forever. Therefore, the wise rulers don't choose bloodshed. They fight each other with psychological tactics. By spreading its wings wide to cover the carcass, the golden eagle creates an illusion of immense size and ferocity. It's sending a powerful message. I'm willing to die to keep this food. What about you? The sea eagle, though larger, did its own calculation of survival. The risk was too great. It decided to retreat, patiently waiting for the cycle of hunger to force its enemy to leave. On the snow-covered prairie, ownership is never permanent. No boundaries are drawn. No crown lasts forever. It is decided only by whoever possesses the most ravenous hunger and is willing to pay the highest price at that moment. The golden eagle has taken enough energy to save its life. It departs, yielding its survival resources to the more patient one. However, the energy from this decaying corpse is not just to help the golden eagle survive today. It is being accumulated for a much greater and more ruthless gamble, silently taking shape amidst the deadly cliffs. The energy stripped from a moose carcass isn't just for maintaining a heartbeat. It's the fuel that powers an entire kingdom. In Norse mythology, eagles are revered as gods who bring storms. But stripped of that mythical facade, they are in fact creatures extremely vulnerable to environmental changes. A pair of powerful wings over 2 meters long becomes utterly useless without a wide enough sky to soar. Golden eagles cannot survive in ravaged forests. They require vast territories, open, unobstructed hunting grounds, and absolute stillness of cliffs. Survival for them begins with solitude. We often assume that spring, with its warmth and abundance, is the time when all things begin to flourish. The truth is, the wild offers no luxury of waiting. For the golden eagle, the mating season begins very early, even while the bone-chilling cold of winter still grips the forest. The paired flights, the free-falling talon locks in midair, are not a romantic dance. They are a test of physical strength, a ritual to solidify territory and confidence before embarking on the most arduous task of a bird's life. It is a brutal gamble of life and death. Laying eggs too early means the fragile embryos will freeze to death inside their shells. But delaying laying them too long, the young will miss the time when prey is most abundant. Any miscalculation of the weather's rhythm costs an entire generation. As the last layers of ice begin to melt, the frozen corpses are gone. The golden eagle is forced to shed its scavenger role and return to its true nature as an active killer. And its target is often those blinded by their own instincts. This is the capercaillie, the giant grouse of the northern forests. During mating season, the surging testosterone in their blood makes the males reckless, noisy, and completely oblivious. Their dazzling displays to attract mates in the open field now become a perfect signpost to death. In nature, the mating call of one species is very likely the death knell sounded by another. This cold-blooded swooping down is not cruelty. The golden eagle no longer hunts merely to fill its own stomach. Every piece of flesh, every drop of blood stripped from the forest now carries a more ultimate mission: to nourish the tender young lives awaiting within a cradle suspended high in the sky. Built on treacherous cliffs or the tops of giant ancient trees, eagle nests are almost impenetrable, fortresses against ground predators. With a diameter of up to 1.5 meters, this magnificent cradle is a testament to their absolute dominance over their territory. But greatness often comes at a price. By hiding from wolves and bears on the ground, they expose themselves to a far more ferocious enemy, the wrath of the sky. For over 45 days and nights, the eagle parents take turns using their bodies as a shield against the heat. The eggshell is incredibly fragile. Just a few dozen minutes exposed to the freezing mountain winds will kill the life inside. When the eggshell breaks, the pressure for survival immediately multiplies. This seemingly peaceful family scene is, in reality, a massive energy-consuming machine. Energy from the frozen meat in the snow, from the death of the grouse, is now being directly converted into blood and muscle for the future rulers. But meat isn't the only thing brought back to the nest. Every day, the mother eagle continuously plucks fresh green coniferous branches to use as bedding for her chicks. Many scientists believe that the sap of these fresh branches contains natural antibacterial agents, helping to repel parasites and keep the nest clean. Even at the top of the food chain, fighting disease remains part of the struggle for survival. Spectators often believe that eagles' talons and size can protect them from all misfortune. The truth is, they are completely powerless against the vicissitudes of the weather. A cold spring rain is the worst nightmare. The downy feathers of young eagles are not waterproof. When soaked, their body temperature plummets. Prolonged heavy rain also means the father eagle cannot take flight to hunt. Hunger combined with hypothermia creates a deadly cycle, and in the end, a life cannot survive. But the cruelest thing about nature is that it has no room for pity. Eagles don't have human morality. They don't mourn. Instead of letting energy waste and rot, the carcass of the weak offspring is immediately transformed into a source of life to save the remaining one. A chillingly cold exploitation, but it's the only way to prevent the bloodline from being completely wiped out. But the wild world never revolves around a single tragic note. That death sentence, delivered dozens of meters above the ground, was the birth signal for countless lives on the ground. The cold rain that had just claimed the life of the young eagle had already filled the puddles on the trail. For the yellow-bellied toad, these temporary puddles were a precious time for them to mate and perpetuate their species. The same rain, the same forest, but the fate of one species was paved by the tragedy of another. Nature is not cruel. It simply shows no favoritism. The enormous nest not only sustains the eagle, the food scraps and waste that fall inadvertently fertilize the soil beneath. Nettle plants thrive thanks to this abundant nutrient supply, creating a unique food source for the larvae of the admiral red butterfly. Even the waste products of a ground predator weave life for a butterfly. And in this kingdom, the eagle is not the only tyrant. In the neighboring valley, tiny pygmy owls can slaughter over 200 songbirds and small animals just to raise a single brood. Size doesn't determine everything. Even the golden eagle is constantly challenged. Cunning crows frequently taunt them from the air, and a much smaller hawk is ready to launch a fierce attack if an eagle dares to fly over its nesting grounds. In the wilderness, there is no absolute ruler. Each species must pay a price to preserve its survival. Eagles' instincts have been honed over millions of years to overcome freezing temperatures, hunger, and wild predators. But those instincts are utterly powerless against humans. Their decline in Europe began in the 17th century. They were mercilessly slaughtered, considered predators of livestock, and the state even offered bounties for each fallen eagle carcass. Today, the genocidal shots are a thing of the past, but a new, quieter, more devastating catastrophe is emerging. Giant logging machines are transforming ancient forests into industrial zones for timber extraction. The volume of logging has doubled. Without the old trees, without the uninhabited wilderness, eagles are losing their cradle of life. Protecting a species is not about banning hunting, but about leaving them a space to survive. In the glorious June sun, nature's most relentless efforts finally bear fruit. Clad in the chocolate-colored plumage of youth, the young eagle officially leaves its cramped nest. This first leap doesn't instantly transform it into an independent hunter. For the next 5 months, it will continue to soar and hunt under the protection of its parents. But the moment those wings lift its body off the ground, a great cycle is completed. Our story began 6 months ago with a frozen elk carcass exposed to the elements during a blizzard. And now, it concludes in a vast sky. In the wild, death never disappears. It only changes form. From a decaying corpse in the ice, the life force flowed into the flesh and blood of the parent eagles, permeated the treacherous nest during the rainy night, and finally, transformed completely into a pair of young wings, proudly tearing through the horizon. The wild world is always full of brutal laws of survival, where every death opens a new beginning. Thank you for staying and accompanying us to the very end of this documentary. If you enjoy in-depth analytical perspectives and appreciate cinematic storytelling, please subscribe and turn on notifications below. Don't forget to leave a like and share your perspective in the comments. Your support is our greatest source of energy to continue unraveling other great stories of nature. The battle for survival is far from over. See you again on our next wilderness adventures.